Gaviria Betancur, who is with us today in person. Thank you so much for being here with us. In terms of the framing, we will be talking about how there's been as we all mentioned, escalation of forced displacement in the West Bank as well, from the Operation Iron Wall, at least 40,000 Palestinian. In both cases, it's the displaced refugee population that are bearing the brunt of the displacement. And there's a move to privatize aid, we've also heard from SR Food. So it would be great if you can elaborate on the crimes of forced displacement, transfer, colonization, apartheid, continuing genocide, and routine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for convening this timely side event, and I am very, very honored to be here in person as I was just presenting my report to the Human Rights Council and was able to make it in person. Thank you, BADIL, and to Sophia, and thank you also the SR Food for his very insightful recommendations and his work. Let me begin by stating what international law makes unequivocally clear. The displacement of civilians by an occupying power is only permissible in the narrowest of circumstances, namely for imperative military reasons or to protect civilian lives. Outside of that, such displacement is classified as forcibly transferred, a crime against humanity under the Rome Statute. In Gaza today, that line has been long crossed, not once, but systematically and massively. As we heard, over 90% of Gaza's population, nearly 2 million people, have been displaced not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, up to 10 times during this period. Official evacuation orders and militarized zones cover more than 82% of the Gaza Strip. And yet, Israel continues to invoke military necessity as a justification despite targeting hospitals, schools, and densely populated shelters with, we have to agree on this, no clear military objective. What we are witnessing is not confusion or collateral damage, it is a deliberate displacement, implemented with precision and with impunity. As we heard from SR Food, since March 18th offensive, which shattered the 2025 ceasefire, 680 more people at least have been uprooted, and this comes on top of a humanitarian infrastructure already on the brink. Over 80 or more % of the civilian infrastructure, including roads, water networks, medical facilities, have been destroyed. And as we heard also today, in the West Bank, there's a coordinated strategy. It's not exempt from what we're saying. Over 40,000 Palestinians have been displaced since January this year, driven out by home demolitions, settler violence, military raids, with, again, no legitimate military justification. So let's be clear, this is forcibly transferred on a national scale, and it appears to be laying the ground for something even more grave, illegal annexation, as we heard as well from Michael. Senior Israeli officials have openly called for the permanent takeover of Gaza, while in the West Bank, Israeli settlements are expanding and civil administrative powers are being transferred from military to government control. So what connects all of this is a strategy of demographic engineering, using displacement as a tool to permanently alter the population and ownership of occupied territory. I want also to refer to the weaponization of aid. It's more evident than in all of other contexts in the world, which it also happens in other contexts, but here is the most evident context. And since early March, as we heard, almost no shelter materials have entered. Food insecurity is universal. Catastrophic hunger of more than almost 500,000 people facing catastrophic hunger. Fuel is nearly gone, so shut down the hospitals, water systems, and convoys blocked, delayed, or attacked. So seeking aid in Gaza has become a death sentence. Seeking aid has become a death sentence. as we hear it. More than 400 Palestinians have been killed since March 19, and more than 3,000 injured while trying to access food. And as I said, they are not isolated or random events. They reflect a pattern. It's clear that they reflect a pattern. And now with the launch of this Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, we are witnessing an even more dangerous shift. It's a militarized aid system, controlled, as we heard also from Michael, by the IDF and private security contractors operating outside the UN oversight. And this model, backed by the US and Israel, excludes the sick, the elderly, anyone with mobility challenges, because they are unable to travel long distances. And more alarmingly, it has been the site of repeated mass casualty events. We've heard from the Inquiry Commission this last week, I think, from Navi Pillali, that this system can be called the luring civilians to their deaths. We heard from you about targeting UNRWA as part of the same agenda. Taken together, what we see is not simply a violation of humanitarian norms. As I said, it's an architected system of persecution, of forced displacement, of starvation, of denial of aid, of destruction of civil life. The elements, clear elements, already said by my colleague Francesca, that we're going to hear from her later, all clear elements of genocidal intent that are increasingly visible as defined under Genocide Convention and the Rome Statute. So the idea that this can continue under the guise of security is not just misleading, it's dangerous. Security cannot mean annihilation. It cannot mean a future without the Palestinians in their own homeland. And the impunity that has protected these policies also must end. The international community must move from condemnation to accountability, restoring full humanitarian access, ensuring protection for displaced communities, and supporting UN agencies, not undermining them. And also, and most important, pursuing justice through international mechanisms, including the ICC and the ICJ. And just to say, for those who were not present in the session where I presented my report, I said all of this in front of the member states, and I mentioned that it was a failure of the international community. So thank you again for the invitation, and I hope this genocide ends